Continuing to read from Lama Yeshe Losal Rinpoche's From a Mountain in Tibet, from page 215.
Om Tare Du Tare Ture Soa. 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 Om Ma Ne Pe Me Hum. Om Ma Ne Pe Me Hum. Om Ma Ne Pe Me Hum. Om Mani Padme 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 Hum.
When we were building the original retreat center on Holy Isle back in the mid-90s, a generous donation meant that I was fortunate to be able to construct a room in which I could carry out another dark retreat. I had found my experience in Nepal so beneficial that I was keen to repeat it, though with better hygiene. I felt deeply at home on Holy Isle, and I thought it would be a wonderful setting for a second dark retreat. In 1997, the space was ready. Once again, Renato came to attend on me. We joked that compared to conditions in Nepal, this was like being at a holiday camp. He brought me cooked food every day, and I had the use of a toilet because there was a small bathroom within the dark cabin. I had a wonderful time during this second experience. I had learned a few practical things about how to make it comfortable, and I was careful to go in and come out gradually to avoid shocking my body or my mind. I did not experience many hallucinations or have any negative thoughts the entire time I was in retreat. Once again, I felt that the space was bathed in soft light, even though I could still not see my own body. This illumination seemed, as before, to be the light of my own mind. I felt that I hardly slept at all, and was never hungry. It was a supremely positive experience, and restored balance to my life, in which my own spiritual practice had been taking something of a back seat to a great deal of public life and duties. When I came out, I was convinced that it would be beneficial to the people we hoped would come to Holy Isle to make it a condition of their visit that they observe Buddhism's 5 precepts for ethical conduct. These are to respect life and refrain from killing. To respect others' property and refrain from stealing. To speak the truth and refrain from lying. To encourage health and refrain from intoxicants, including alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. And to respect others and refrain from sexual misconduct. I felt that this would establish a foundation for people's spiritual development. These are the 5 golden rules we ask anybody coming to Holy Isle or Semi-Ling to observe. I think this has been a great success and is appreciated by our volunteers, visitors, and the many people with addiction and mental health problems who have found peace on Holy Isle. True, it set our costs soaring when we were building the Center for World Peace. The laborers refused to stay on an island where there was no alcohol, so we had to ferry them back and forth from Lamlash twice a day. They might not have been fully on board with our vision, but I still think it was worth it. Some people are very intrigued when I talk to them about the more mystical elements of the spiritual life that I have experienced. Some, of course, are skeptical. Others become anxious to have intense mystical experiences themselves. I have come to realize over the years that some of these people do not necessarily have the right motivation. They are like experience junkies, excited by the idea of pushing themselves to extremes. There is an element of ego involved and a lack of self-knowledge. This always ends badly. One student of mine endangered his mental health by insisting that he would do a dark retreat, even though he did not approach me for teachings or guidance. I was away from Samiling at the time and regret that I was unable to give him the advice he needed. He lasted 2 weeks. Sadly, he has been unwell ever since and has renounced Buddhism. I always say that the mind is the most powerful thing in the world. And once we learn how to pay attention to its wanderings, to train it and nurture it, it will reward us 1,000-fold. There is no need to force things. All we have to do in order to bring about positive change is to allow its innate wisdom to illuminate our lives. I was fortunate to be able to use the deep focus attained in dark retreats to fuel a radiant outward-looking focus in my work at Samiling and on Holy Isle. Balancing the inner work of meditation with the outer focus of living in the world is very important for all of us. Without this balance, we cannot fulfill our potential or live at peace with others. But there's no need for exotic locations or punishing regimes. Daily meditation practice can purify the mind poisons, deepen our compassion for ourselves and for every living being, and set us on a path to a new, positive way of life. Continuing from a mountain in Tibet, from page 215.
It was good once he got settled and sorted out in Holy Island that more money kept rolling in for his projects. And the cottage where we did that retreat, it must have been very expensive because the helicopter brought in the materials. And it's up in the hill or the mountain, so it would be difficult to try and carry a lot of heavy stuff up the hill, so I had to get it in with a helicopter.
It was an elaborate process, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the builders were all there, so as soon as it came in, they started work on it. I don't know how long it took because I wasn't there, but this is as far as I know what happened, you know. But anyway, it's good it happened, so eventually he got his wish, he got settled in to start his second dark retreat.
Yes. How wonderful that Lama Yeshe Rinpoche was able to do a dark retreat here on the island, because that was also another thread of continuity from the tradition to a new setting, and the continuity from Saint Malaise and his meditation in a cave to all the practice that's been done on the island, in the same spirit of making a connection with the beautiful natural environment and spiritual traditions that have very clear guidance about how to make the best use of the time here in retreat.
Yeah.
So the second dark retreat that he did here on the Holy Isle was also very special for him.
Yeah.
And you were there when he came out as well.
Yes.
And you were in retreat when they made the arrangements to make that space, but you were there when he came out of that retreat.
Yes, I was over in Glennscorrendale at the time that we came across, and there was other people there. So we came up to see him when he came out of his dark retreat. So there was a group of us there, and we went up to support the good work he was doing.
Yes, so he was representing himself in his practice, but very much encouraged, and everyone was delighted that he'd been able to make that commitment here and to fulfill that retreat practice.
Yes. So that was very good. And he had sunglasses on that time.
To protect his eyes.
He had his sunglasses on, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was following his own advice of taking it gradually going in and taking it gradually coming out. So that all the insight that he gleaned while he was in retreat could then be fed back into the world as he made his transition back to a different pace and his transition back to his activity level that he was accustomed to when he wasn't in retreat.
So that was the start of many projects in Holy Island was to get started, you know. Got a lot of maintenance on the footpath and clearing bracken and planting trees and all sorts of things started taking place. So that was very, very good. All that happened.
And it all was backed up and supported by the time in retreat, which is such a beautiful thing that Lama Yeshe Rinpoche has been able to do these retreats. And it also reminds us very much of the qualities of where he grew up in his childhood, being a remote place and all the benefits of that for practice, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. That's right.
So if people are able to go to places that are remote and very beautiful and very much connected with the natural environment, it's a very good environment and very conducive for inner work and inner practice.
Yeah. That's right. So all this took place. That's very good.
And when anyone does retreat, it benefits everyone around them. Not only themselves and their families, but the whole environment responds.
Yeah, and after that, lots of courses started coming to Holy Island, you know. Teachers came, you know, and taught, gave teachings, which was good.
So it's been a place that has become very special for a lot of teachings and a lot of people doing their inner work.
Yeah.
And it's an ideal place for retreat.
Yeah.
So it seems that Lama Yeshe Rinpoche's vision, as it continues to unfold and manifest, was very clearly sourced and seeded by recognizing that a place like this is ideal for retreat and that it then can become used in that fashion.
Yeah. And of course, a lot of his other dreams came after that, which is yet to come.
Yes.
He had more other dreams for Holy Island, but we're still waiting for that to happen.
Yes. It's very exciting, and it's been that way from the very beginning. The vision is very compelling and very energizing and very positive, and it brings a lot of joy.
And a lot of people who I've met who come tell you that a lot of people had spiritual experience on Holy Island.
Yes.
You know, so that's why they wanted to come back to tune in with its energy.
Yes.
You know.
And
So,
recognizing it's an ideal place for doing retreat.
Yeah, yes, right. And the lighthouse is down there at the end of it was called the Inner Light Lighthouse. So the retreat was called down there the Inner Light.
That's
retreat.
beautiful, isn't
The
it?
Inner Light, yes.
It connects with what he saw during his retreats, wasn't it? His
Yeah.
dark retreats. He saw the radiance of the mind
So
within the space where he was practicing.
So the Inner Light was a good name for the retreat?
Yes.
Inner Light retreat, yes.
That was there before any of this happened.
Yeah.
It was waiting.
Inner Light name was already there.
Yeah, it was waiting.
We carried it on to the retreat, yes. So, that was very good. And then, well, there's been a few retreats done there since that happened. And a lot of people had some good experiences. So some of them wanted to come back again to do more.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was quite nice too.
It's been beautiful and very inspiring from the very first moment onwards.
Yes.
Well, today is Labat Duchin, which is a day that traditionally the retreats can start, the long retreats can start. So we just want to recognize that we're talking about retreat, which is a very auspicious kind of a conversation on a very auspicious day.
Yes.
It's the day when the Buddha went to the Tushita heavens to see his mother. And so it reminds us that we are all doing everything we're doing for the benefit of all our mother sentient beings.
Yes. May all be auspicious. Right.
Okay.